Our messages are offered for your highest and best good, what Spirit feels is the most important for you to hear today, to assist you in what you're accomplishing and dealing with in your life right now, to help you bring about what you incarnated to bring about this lifetime. Sometimes the information you receive is about the future, and remember, the future is not cast in stone. It's a possibility or a probability, and you're given that information. So you can take actions to either to avoid or to bring about that future event. Free will is always in place. The closer an event is, the more difficult it is to change. The more distant in the future, the easier it is to take actions to shift what's going to happen. This is a public venue. So in a public venue, other people can hear the message you are receiving. So Spirit will not do anything to embarrass the person who is receiving the message. Other people may be embarrassed for them, but the person receiving the message is typically, may not be comfortable, but they won't be embarrassed. But the other interesting thing is many times Spirit will share a message in a way that more than one person can benefit from what's being said. So if you hear someone else receiving something and it feels right, if it rings true to you, take it. It's yours. It's not copyrighted, and it's probably being offered in a way that it benefits you as well. I've noticed over the years that if you're the person receiving the message, you're trying to figure it out. What does this mean? What am I supposed to do with this? But if you're watching someone else get a message, it's easier sometimes because you're not on the hot seat to hear information that's being conveyed. So I think that's all of my disclaimers. And I don't see Robert. Robert, if you're here, can you unmute yourself or peek around the corner and let us know you're still with us? I'd like to offer you a message if you show back up and can unmute. If not, I'm going to start left to right. I don't think anyone else is brand new here. So Mary, would you like a message?
Yes, please.
All right, I've got a teacher. Her name is Clarissa. She shows up every now and then. She is antebellum, so pre-Civil War Southern lady. And she is sharing with me an image of, I call them trinkets. Some people call them tchotchkes. But there are several things that you have on display in this little corner that's not very well lighted, that are very dear to you. And over the years, you've made the object what is dear to you, but she reminds you that it's the memory and the person and the experience related to the object that is what's dear. And the reason she's sharing this with you right now is you're in a process of beginning to perceive and understand what we say in Reverend Bradley's request, those things spiritual. And those things spiritual are very minimalistic in nature, not material at all, and they're more of the realm of your thinking, your feelings, your emotions, and your memories. And she reminds you that many times we have these tokens that we look at and we cherish, and she wants you to, as you're beginning to really dig deeper into your awareness, realize that what is cherished isn't the token, isn't the tchotchke, but it's the experience. And especially as you're moving forward to create the new experiences of your newly developing awareness, she wants you to focus more on like journaling an experience, writing it down, than buying a token to remind you of the experience. And I will bless you and see if that landed. I'm sorry. I was getting my leg cramp to go away. I didn't notice. Did that land for you, or do you have any questions?
Um, I'll meditate on it a little bit, but I think I kind of get where it's coming from, but I'll meditate on it a bit.
Yeah, and don't try to overthink it. It's many times as we start to really take on a spiritual practice, um, it's the subtleties and new subtle. It's the subtleties and nuances that matter more than the explicit really getting a deep understanding. Because this is kind of how you were in the past and moving forward, and how you what you're going to create now. So, and I will bless you and leave you with that. All right, and Robin, would you like a message? Do you juggle? Juggle?
My life is juggling things.
Well, this is more literal right now. No. So I got that life is juggling things, and the thing about real juggling is it's one of the most intense concentration and focused exercises you can do. And to be someone who juggles is to be someone who is fully present, attentive, and aware in the moment. Because 80% of juggling is your toss, the throw up, and then recovering to catch the one you threw up 2 times ago or 3 times ago. So what the message is right now, this is coming from Nathan, is he really wants you to focus on being fully present, fully attentive, and fully intentional as you do the things right now that are going to set up the karma or the results tomorrow. Many times what you're doing is you're so focused on the result tomorrow, you're not being fully present in the now, and you're not throwing the ball up properly to make it easier to catch tomorrow. So you're kind of creating this lack of attention now because you're dealing with the stuff you threw up yesterday. You know, you tossed it up yesterday and you're trying to catch it and everything, but you're also starting to do the things that are going to set up tomorrow's catches. And you're really wanting to be more present at the toss up, at the inception of what you're doing, and allow yourself to be present to how what I'm doing right now will create the chaos or the harmony for tomorrow. So I will bless you and leave you with that and see if that landed.
Yes, it did. Yeah.
Awesome.
I do that.
Excellent. Yeah. So it's if you want to if you really want to practice being present, start to juggle, and you'll see how how much your mind wanders all over the place. And anyway, I will bless you and leave you that.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And Sylvia, would you like a message?
Yes, yes.
All right, Wanda, I'll get you in just a second. Sorry, I misspoke. So I'm gonna give Sylvia a message, and I'll be right back to you. So hold on a second, sweetie.
Okay.
Sylvia, have you ever heard the phrase of putting oil on water? How if you put oil on water, it'll kind of calm the water down a little bit.
It floats on top. That's all I'm aware of.
Yeah, so it floats on top, and because it floats on top, it kind of has a way of soothing out and smoothing out the water.
Okay.
So if it's a little bit windy outside and the water's kind of ripply, you can put a little oil on it, and it'll blow across the water, but it'll calm the waters. And you're really good at keeping the waters calm. So you're like the oil, and you have a way of calming and soothing and bringing a little bit of order to chaos. And so this is from Nathan, but he reminds you in the middle of a typhoon, you can't, oil on water doesn't work. So you got a situation that's kind of either just started to unfold or is going to be unfolding in the near future. And the best thing you can do is really take care of yourself, because the situation is going to be a little bit tumultuous with other people's feelings, other people's opinions, other people's stuff. And all you can do is really sit back and watch and realize that it's going to play out the way it's going to play out. Just like if it's a really bad thunderstorm or a really bad storm, you just kind of got to wait it out. And otherwise, to do anything else is a use of your energy that can be better used somewhere else. So I will, if it hasn't just now started in like the last couple of 3 days, be kind of a very attentive over the next 3 or 4 days if you notice things kind of start getting a little bit noisy and a little bit disturbed around you, and pay attention to how you would want to kind of smooth things out rather than just let things play out. So I will bless you and leave you with that, and see if that landed for you, if you have any questions.
Totally clear.
Excellent.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I bless you. See you soon.
All right.
All right, Wanda, now your turn.
Okay.
All righty.
Okay. Uh-huh.
So Tao Chuan Ling steps very, very close to me. He's my high spiritual teacher. And he is wanting you to pat yourself on the back and really give yourself credit for how you've handled things since the beginning of the year. He shows me the image of the old-fashioned cart being pulled by an oxen, and it's got wooden wheels, and it's on a dirt road, and it's just been bumpy. You know, you've been on this ride, and it's just been bumpy, and it's beating you up, and it's jarring you up, and you know you can't get comfortable, because every time you start to get comfortable, something else comes up. And you've handled this as well as anybody could. And he's wanting you to really understand that you've done everything the best way you can and made the most out of the situations that you could. And he really wants you to settle into accepting that you have a level of strength and power that you rarely give yourself credit for. And he wants you to figure out a way, and dealing with this eye situation is a perfect way to start to really accept the fact that you really can get things done that need to be done, and you do it in a way that works for you. And that's something that he really wants you to start to acknowledge for yourself, and appreciate about yourself. He's not showing me how long you're going to be on this old-fashioned wooden cart on the bumpy dirt road. But he wants you to know, regardless of how long you're on it, that just as you always have, you will survive and you will make the most of it, and you will always make good decisions, even though you don't trust that decision sometimes. And that's what he wants you to do, is to really start to trust your decisions. And I will bless you and see if that landed for you. Okay,
Thank you.
You're welcome. I bless you with that. And Paula, would you like a message? I can't see your face, Paula, so if you can find the unmute button.
Yes, please.
Excellent. Okay, this is coming from Nathan, and it's a message about your well-being and your self-care. And the image he is sharing with me is a very elaborate white linen tablecloth high tea. And this is, I've got so much stuff on this table for the high tea. But as you're looking at the stuff on the table, there are 2 or 3 things that are being presented that don't agree with you, that you don't like. And part of you feels that this is such an exquisite, so my puppy is contributing, so you'll have to include Jaeger into this. Part of you feels like it's such an exquisite presentation, you should at least try everything. And so you're putting stuff on your plate that, as you're putting it on your plate, and it's got those beautiful little silver tongs, and it's just exquisite. People are walking around with white gloves on and everything. But as stuff is making it onto your plate, you're going, I'm not going to like that, or I probably won't like that, or I know I don't like that. And the message for you around this today is you need to double down on what you know works. And don't worry about offending anyone else for the stuff you know that doesn't work for you personally. For you personally. And it's setting a boundary, and it's setting a level of self-care that will really assist you in making 2 of the changes you're looking to change and bring about in your life today and moving forward. So I will bless you and leave you with that, and I ask you if that landed or if you have any questions about it.
I'm not really sure.
Okay. Well, if it doesn't make sense, just file it away. And if it may or may not make sense, again, coming up sometime soon.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. I bless you and leave you with that. And Chris, you're next. Would you like a message?
Yes, please.
All right, so this message comes from my joy guide, Christopher. And Christopher's about 6.5, 7 years old. And he's got you with a piece of paper. And on this piece of paper, you've started making these circles and scribbly things and everything. And as you start to get this elaborate pencil etching, you start to look at colors you can fill in the holes with. It's kind of, I think it's a mandala, or there's a couple of different names for it, but it was really popular here in the US for a while with these coloring books. But you only got like 4 or 5 colors, and you're kind of frustrated and getting bored with the same 4 or 5 colors that you've been using on this mandala. And he reminds you that if you take blue and yellow, you can make green. If you take white and red, you can make pink. And if you take red and yellow, you can make orange. And then you can make other different colors. So he's reminding you, you've got several resources at your disposal. And you've used those and they're working well for you and they get the job done. But you're wanting a little bit more creativity. You're wanting a little bit some other solutions to problems. And he wants you to remember that you can combine two solutions to create a third solution that's unique and different. So it's allowing yourself to see things from a slightly different perspective, using everything you've already got to help you find the solutions and get the results you want. This feels in two different areas. It feels personal, but it also has a vocational or business type component to it as well. And I will bless you on that and see if that made any sense.
Yes, it did. Thank you.
You're welcome. I bless you and leave you with that. Thanks for joining us. And Claire, would you like a message?
Yes, please.
Excellent. Okay, I think we've had this message before. I've got you on top of a hill and you've got this wonderfully smoky fire and you've got a blanket and you want to send a communication to someone using smoke signals, but the wind's blowing like 40 miles an hour. And you're very reluctant to do it, but you reach in your pocket, grab a cell phone, and you send them a text message. And you've got a couple of traditional things you like to do a certain way because you like to do them that way. And this definitely has to do with communication around a couple of things with your health and well-being and with the critters you care for's health and well-being. And it's really a matter of allowing yourself to expand what you allow to work to get the result you want. The thing is the hesitation you've got with using the newer technology is you're hesitant to get the answer in a direct yes or no fashion. If you use other stuff, it leaves you a little bit of hope, and that hope is what you're wanting to inspire you. And the shift on this is really allowing yourself to see the factual information about what's so, and then acting upon it more quickly and directly. And again, it's around communication with someone who's hard to communicate with and also difficult to communicate with, like your little fur babies. So I will bless you and see if that landed whatsoever.
Well, I have some hesitancy about my abilities in general sometimes, and I'm working on acknowledging myself and my capabilities. Yeah. And I have decided to do an X-ray for Groucho because tomorrow, because I need more information, and then I could give you more information too, of course. Okay. And I don't know what's going to happen here with them, but I love them and they're part of my life, and yeah, so
excellent.
We communicate pretty well usually, me and the guys, but
yeah.
And then of course the other person is my sister Mary, and she sent me a very beautiful letter, and I communicate with her, and once in a blue moon she'll send me a little text. So technology can be very helpful.
Excellent.
As opposed to sending smoke signals.
Yeah, and the thing is just really accept things as they are and use the technology yes. as what it is, and then still do what you know will work. So excellent. I will bless you and leave with that, and let me know how the X-ray goes.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you, I will.
You're welcome.
Okay.
All right, Hanna, would you like a message? I've got you ready to walk outside. And you're ready to walk outside, and you've got this big fur jacket on with a big fur hood and these big furry gloves. And you've got the top, the hood, like you can just see out like this, but you're wearing short pants. And so you've been preparing everything halfway. And what Tao Chuan Ling is sharing with me is you don't even know how warm or cold it is outside. You're just assuming that it's cold. And he really wants you to step outside, see what is appropriate, and really find a middle path between short pants and flip-flops and this total parka, South Antarctica type wear. And
that's what I keep telling her.
Find out what's going to work for you in accordance to what the reality is right now outside. This has to do with not only the main thing is with your health and well-being, but it's also with two things you're wanting to accomplish with your parents, and really dealing with them with the reality of what's so, instead of kind of the worst case scenario / best case scenario. So I will bless you and see if that landed.
The first one was very literal, because that's what I have right now. Look at me. So, but I know it's not literal, so I'm not so sure about my parents, especially the parents part. I don't understand.
Well, just your mom and your dad are very similar, but they're very dissimilar. And what will work for one doesn't necessarily work for the other. And allow yourself to really step into, test the water to see what you need to do, instead of being prepared to do everything. Really allow yourself
doing less and doing more in other areas.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
You're welcome.
I got it.
And Albert, would you like a message?
Yes, sir.
I've got a work table that you want to add a laminate on top of. And the laminate is there, the work table is there, both surfaces are clean, but you've got two different adhesives that you're pondering. And you're reading the fine print on both of the adhesives to see which one you think will work better. And one of them is brand new, you've never used before, but it's supposed to have some whiz-bang technology. And there's one that's older that you've used several times and you know that works. And in this case, Tao Chuan Ling really wants you to consider the new one. And even though as you read the fine print and you don't necessarily accept some of the premise on how and why it's better than the tried and true method, it's going to be a leap of faith to give it a go. And what's interesting about this laminate you're adding to the table is you pretty much created this project so you could test out the new technology, but as you're getting deeper and deeper and deeper into the project, you don't want to mess it up because you're kind of proud of it and you kind of have this perfectionistic thing, and so you're afraid to use the new one, even though you kind of set the whole damn thing up to test the new one because you know the old one will work and you want it to be over with. This absolutely has everything to do with your health and well-being. And I will bless you and see if that landed for you.
Possibly, but I'll have to think about it.
Don't think too hard about it. Just really look at how you've done things most of your life And one of the things you've considered, which is more newfangled, new technology, and see if it applies there. And if it does, jump in with both feet and give it a go.
So as an example, let's say I've been using a certain type of medication successfully, but now I should consider doing a newer type of medication as an example.
Yes, that could be. That illustrates the feeling perfectly.
Okay.
We're just about to go to the hospital, and his blood pressure got lower, so he started to be on your show.
Your show.
Well, I will let you both work that out, and I will bless you and leave you.
All right, thank you.
All right, Hazel, you're next. Would you like a message? Do you like radishes?
Not particularly, but I have eaten them.
Yeah. I've got it looks like half a pound of radishes. And what's interesting about these radishes, they still have the green on them. And someone has given you a gift of radishes. And you're just trying to figure out, what the heck do I do with these darn radishes? And what's interesting is you've got someone very close to you that freaking loves radishes, who happens to be sitting on something that they don't care for. So I've got a situation coming up around you. If it hasn't shown up already, it's going to show up, feels like, the next 5 to 6 days, definitely before next Sunday, where you're going to have some stuff. You're going to have a resource which doesn't really float your boat, and someone else has a resource that's not really working for them, and you can exchange resources, like you trade radishes for Brussels sprouts or something like that, and it's going to be a win-win. So if you are having an abundance of one thing that's not really seen as serving you, and you hear this little grumbling from someone else kind of as an afterthought, see if you can work out an exchange. So it feels it's more symbolic than literal. So it's almost like, if you're a good editor and they're a good proofreader, and I don't know the difference, I'm just making this up, then maybe you can swap some effort to help each other get done what needs to get done.
All right.
And I will bless you and leave you with that, and see if that made any darn sense.
Yes, it does. I'm not sure where it applies, but I do understand the principle, so I'll be on the lookout.
Excellent. I will bless you and leave you with that.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And Bethany, you're next. Would you like a message?
Yes, please.
When was the last time you played hopscotch?
Quite a while ago.
Yeah. So I've got this wonderful hopscotch thing drawn on a sidewalk. And you are pretty darn good at hopscotch. And you're a little bit frustrated because it doesn't seem like you're making progress. Because, hopscotch it's kind of drawn in one little place, and you kind of go back and forth, and you don't really go anywhere. It's kind of like riding a bike in the gym. You do a lot of work, but you don't go anywhere. But you have forgotten the fact that the reason you started doing this hopscotch is to help you with 2 or 3 things with balance and exercise and these different reasons other than really enjoying hopscotch. And you're pretty good at hopscotch, and you're having a pretty good time with it, but you're kind of getting bored with it. And the message is, really allow yourself to remember why you started the type things in the first place. and get recommitted to the original intention behind why you started a couple of things that are kind of you're growing weary of. And once you get that recommitment, then what can happen is you'll start to see other opportunities that will have you be able to accomplish what you want to bring about in fun and different ways. But if you don't get back to the original commitment that had you start doing something, then what will happen is you may get a little bit off course and do something that's not going to help you fulfill the original commitment. And so the example for me that I'm getting right now, this is my intuition, this isn't from spirit. It's like many people start with meditation and they get bored with meditation, so they start to do yoga and then they really enjoy yoga, but the whole hour of yoga just sets them up so they can get a really good meditation at the end for that shavasana part where you just kind of lay down and don't think. Whereas if they just focus the same amount of time and energy on meditation, they would have gotten better at meditation. Now, if you're doing yoga because you love yoga, that's one thing. But if you're doing yoga because it's less boring way to get to the meditation, then that's not fulfilling the original commitment. So I will bless you and see if that landed for you.
I have several things going on right now, so it coincides, interestingly enough, yes.
Excellent. So you get back to that original commitment and then see what ways you can get recommitted to those commitments.
Right, thank you very much.
You're welcome. I'll bless you and leave you that. And Susan, would you like a message?
Yes, please.
Excellent. How are you today?
Good. Nice to see everyone.
Yeah, nice to see that blue sky behind you. It's gorgeous.
Yes, it's very warm out here under the sun.
I've got 3 decisions coming up very quick. Bam, bam, bam. They all feel like they're going to happen before the 1st of March. And Tao Chuan Ling wants you to approach each decision with a measure twice, cut once practice. Because in 2 of the 3 decisions, especially the first 2 feel like they have to do with some things that are going to happen with your family. And the third one, the last one, feels like it has to do with your work or your career. The first 2 specifically, your first impression, your first take on it isn't going to be exactly accurate. And when you step back and take the second measure, you will see the concern underlying the initial thought, and you'll be able to make a decision better for you rather than better for them. And then with the career thing, it's nothing big. It seems like there's a shift coming, and it's just really do a double take on it and really make sure that it's going to take you where you want to go 2 or 3 steps down the line. And I will bless you and see if that landed for you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Bless you.
Bless you too.
All right, Claudia, would you like a message, please? I've got you at a table, and on that table is a stack of like writing stationery and a pen and a blotter, but over in the corner next to the desk is about, looks like 60 or 70 wadded up pieces of paper where you've got like, no, that's not it, that's not right, that's not right, that's not right, and you keep on starting, but you keep on tossing it away. And what Nathan is saying is to write the first draft in pencil rather than pen, then edit it, and then edit it, and then edit it, and then come up with really what it is you want to express from your heart, and make sure that it's reflected on the paper. And then once that's all done, then you can write it in ink. and then it'll be ready to go. But the problem is you get very frustrated with how you want to say what you need to say. And the reason you get frustrated is because what you want to say you don't think will communicate or work to get you what you want. So you're doubting whether what you're going to say is going to get you what you want, and that's why you get so many redos. And the only thing you can do is get communicated what there is for you to say, deliver the communication, and then hope, pray, bless it, leave it, and accept how it's received. Because there's no perfect way to be assured that you're going to get exactly what you want. So I will bless you and see if that landed. Okay. I'll bless you and leave you that. And Sapphire, would you like a message?
Yes, please.
Excellent, and thanks for your patience. It's sometimes it gets a little bit long on these, but we get to everybody.
No, I like it. Thanks.
Do you do any gardening?
No, I don't.
Okay. So it helps me to see the cons. One of the disadvantages of doing Zoom is I don't have you right here so I can touch your vibration. We've done this for 30 years in person, so I got a sense of I can get a sense of the person while they're in the room. We don't get that on Zoom, so that's why I asked if it lands. So this is absolutely symbolic then. I've got tomatoes, and I've got a whole bunch of tomato seeds. And you've got a pair of tweezers, and you're placing tomato seeds one at a time in this tray. And it's a long, skinny tray, about 3 feet long. And as you are starting to place these tomato seeds with tweezers into the tray, you're about halfway done, and an idea or a thought comes into your mind that says, are they too close or are they too far? And the message on this is, at this point in the game, it doesn't matter, because you will be able to transfer these little tomato plants as they start to sprout into more of a permanent container. So you got something that's pretty new. You're busy on it, but you get this little doubt of, am I doing it right? And what the message is right now, this is coming from Nathan, is that whether or not you get the exact result you want is not that important, because you will be able to adjust as you go, as you start to see the fruit, as what you're doing starts to come into blossom and into fruition. So kind of trust it, move ahead, go as quick as you can, make the best educated guess you can, and know that you can tweak and fine tune and adjust as you get a little further down the road, and it will not harm anything. This feels, and I'm going to say this, it's kind of an odd feeling on it. It feels like a personal venture. So something you're doing for personal reasons, but has a venture or kind of a longer term purpose or intention to it, that you're creating or building something. So I will bless you and see if that landed for you, or if you have any questions or clarification.
Wow, no, thank you very much. I bless you too. I understand the conceptual. Some of it's funny, but but I understand the whole concept of what you're talking about. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. I bless you and leave you that. I hope to see you again soon.
You will. Thank you.
Excellent. Stacy, would you like a message?
Yes, please.
Okay. So this is coming from Tao Chuanling. He's the Chinese priest on my right-hand side. And he is, this is a feeling with a very quick, short image. So the feeling is much bigger than the image. But the image sets up the feeling so much better. So you go to the refrigerator, and in the refrigerator you find a carton of milk, and it's like a half gallon of milk. It could be juice. It feels like milk, but it could be juice. And it's got a little plastic screw top on it. But when you pick it up, it feels light. And when you take the top off, it feels light. And then you pour it into a glass, and there's only like barely even two swallows there. And the feeling is, not again. And what's interesting is, in the refrigerator behind the first carton were two other cartons that are full, brand new, and ready to go. But your frustration is that someone keeps on putting the damn thing in with two swallows left instead of taking the last two swallows. And there is a principle, or there is a value, or there is a belief that is not the proper way to do things, which causes you to be frustrated. Even though the milk's still good, it hasn't gone bad, and it still is good, and you can just reach in and grab the next one and open it up and you get your full glass. It's a belief or a system or a mindset that you have that causes you to be frustrated with something because of the way something is, rather than some direct injustice. And the message on this is, start to pay attention to that feeling, because the person that feeling is directed to the most is with yourself. There are several things that you're doing which kind of frustrate you, and you haven't figured out how to get on the other side of it. Like, you pour a glass of milk, and there's not enough room in the glass to finish the carton. So instead of drinking milk out of the glass and putting it down and finishing off the carton and tossing it, you just put it back in there because it's going to be good for later. But that frustrates you. A couple of things are frustrating you with yourself. And it's not until the moment you are able to see the mechanism that causes the frustration. So let me say that again. It's not until the moment you start to see the mechanism that causes the frustration that you can start to get on the other side of it. And it's really about being here now in this moment and present, totally touched into what your experience of the moment is, that will allow you to start to unravel this series of feelings and get beyond it, to really start to create something that you're very excited to create, but it seems like you keep on stubbing your own toe from time to time. So I will bless you and see if that landed at all, because that was rather interesting.
Yes, it landed. Thank you.
You're welcome. I'll bless you and leave you with that.
Bless you. Thank you.
And Lisa, would you like a message? All right, I've got one of those things that seems like we get three, or it seems like we get them all the time lately, and this is coming from Nathan. And it's one of those things about terms and conditions being updated, and you have to continue doing something that you've always been doing for a while. You have to accept the new terms and conditions. It seems like Facebook is doing that, and LinkedIn is doing that. It seems like every darn thing in the world we're doing it. Credit cards are all updating all that stuff. I've got one of these coming up for you, and it is in the realm of a personal, I'm going to say intimate, but I can't see if it's romantic or if it's just a close, intimate relationship. So I've got a terms and conditions update in a personal relationship that is intimate and I just can't see whether it's romantic or not. So I'm just going to leave it at intimate. And the interesting thing on it is, it seems like 2 to 3 months ago you were very interested in having this update in terms and conditions, and now it's taken longer than you thought, and it's finally here, and you don't know if it's a good idea or not. And as you go into this renegotiation or reacceptance of terms and conditions, what Nathan's is saying is to really trust your gut feel of the intention behind the shift. And if you really allow yourself to get into how it feels, not from a physical experience, but from more of a intuitive, knowing, gut feel, hunch perspective, you will know exactly whether or not it's going to fulfill what it is you wanted a month or 2 or 3 months ago when you really thought this would be a good idea. And I will bless you and see if that landed, because I have no clue.
Thank you, Terry. I actually got dropped from the call when you started talking in the beginning, so I just got the last end of it.
All right, so you're on the call right now?
I am now, yes,
Okay.
but the first half I was dropped.
All right, so the first half of it is you know that which part did you hear?
Just the beginning part. You said, when and I dropped.
Okay, so you can go. So you'll get a link on this, so you can hear the whole thing, but it'll be out late tomorrow or Tuesday. So the bottom line is something you wanted a while ago, 2, 3, 4 months ago, is being represented as a shift or a change in some terms and conditions with someone you're very close with. Feels intimate, but I can't see whether or not it's romantic, but it definitely feels intimate. So someone's changing the terms and conditions on a relationship or in a relationship that feels intimate. And now, even though it felt like a really good idea to have this change in terms and conditions a while ago, you don't know if it feels right. So it's really allowing yourself to take a deep breath. When this shift in terms and conditions comes, and I don't know if it's going to be explicit or implicit, touch into your intuition and knowing whether or not it is the right thing for you. So don't go from your physical senses about this is right or fair or whatever. Just really go with your gut feeling to know whether the intention is aligned with what you wanted to bring about.
Okay.
And
very well. Thank you.
Did that land for you?
Yes, it did.
All right, I'll bless you and leave you at that.
Bless you. Thank you.
Thank you. And Judy, would you like a message?
Yes, please. Yes,
Okay.
please.
Excellent. All right, I've got the image of you, and you're dressed in an Energizer Bunny costume. And you're on like your 4th or 5th round of Energizer battery bunny charge things. And the message is coming from Nathan. And Nathan wants you to really consider how you are using the batteries, and want you to consider using rechargeable batteries that don't take such a toll on you each time. So it's really a message about allowing yourself to understand the marathon you find yourself in is going to continue being a marathon for a while. And rather than keep on buying, cartons of batteries from Costco that are not sustainable, cost money, and then they don't last forever, and then you got to toss them. Really allow yourself to find a new and different way to recharge your batteries that is more sustainable, more holistic, more workable while you finish the last legs of this thing, this marathon you find yourself in. And it's really about allowing yourself to schedule and honor that schedule for some self-care and recharging your batteries and doing what you know works for you, even though you can't possibly find the time to do it. And I will bless you and leave you with that and see if that landed.
Yes, it did. Thank you so much, Terry.
You're welcome. All right, so I think that's everybody. I don't think I've missed anybody. So I'm going to put everyone back in the full view. And if I missed anyone, go ahead and start to unmute yourself. Lisa, are you saying bye or are you saying...
No, great service.
Okay, we're not quite done yet. So we're going to got one more part where we set the intention. Now you can turn off your video if you don't want to be seen doing this weird stuff I'm about to ask you to do. But as we set our intention, I want you to take a deep breath and I want you to put your left hand out. And as you put your left hand out, I want you to lean over and say, "Lefty, hold my hand." For me, it's Nathan if you know their name. Put your right hand out and lean into the right and say, "Righty, hold my hand." And for me, it's Tao Chuan Ling. And as you have these two people who love you unconditionally hold your hand, I want you to experience the space of spirit, this space of harmony, this space of love. And as you get reacquainted with their vibration, I'm going to invite our spirit guides and teachers to reach out and connect with each other across space and time and create a virtual circle as our community of like minds and kindred spirits connect as we close this service today. And as you feel this connection become stronger and more real, feel the energy come in your right hand and out your left hand as this circle flows with this limitless energy of love and acceptance. And as we stay here connected in this circle, I want you to imagine it's 1 week from today, Valentine's Day 2021, and you've accomplished something you wanted to bring about. It's done. You got it done. How does it feel to have that done? The one thing you're wanting to get done this week. Are you happy? Are you relieved? Are you vindicated? Are you resolved? Are you accomplished? So you've accomplished it and you've got the feeling of victory as you walk into meeting us next Sunday. And that feeling is your context. Every thought, every action, every step you take along your path is done inside of that context. So if you're happy, you're being happy all week. If you're relieved, you're being relieved all week. And we allow that context to direct our intentions. And I invite our spirit guides to help us open our eyes to see, our ears to hear, our minds to know, but most importantly, our hearts to give and receive love freely. As we walk our paths this next week in accomplishing what it is we want to bring about in service of why we incarnated this lifetime, that we may bring about a happy and thriving existence. And as you take a deep breath in, I want you to acknowledge and thank your spirit guides and teachers for their presence in your life and helping you connect across time and space with our small community. And as we break the circle, knowing we've accomplished what it is we want to bring about this next week, together we say, and so it is. So I want to thank you for joining us. I appreciate each one of you, our new friends and our older friends. I'm glad you found us and look forward to seeing what you accomplish this next week. Take good, everybody. I hope your team wins the Super Bowl, and if not, at least you have some good food. Okay, bye-bye, everyone.
Goodbye.
Bye-bye.